Packmates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited. Today we're doing the limited set review. We go card by card and give them a rating.
I'm going to go ahead and go over our rating scale that we use to rate the cards. 10 through 9 are basically our bombs. For 10, I have our Gruff Triplets, Unbeatable Bomb. 9, Sleep Curse Fairy, the 3/3 for 1. From 8 to 7, I have Hyper Efficient Removal and Hyper Efficient Creatures. For an 8, I have Inadane's Recruiter from the last set, Torch the Tower, which is a 1-mana removal spell. For 6 through 4, these are like what's going to make up the largest part of your deck. And these are like varying from pretty solid creatures to creatures that are like usually like your last cuts. For 6, I have Ministrosity, the 3/1 for 2. The Into the Fate Court, the draw 3, the best blue card. For 4, I have Verdant Outrider, which is like a semi-unplayable creature. And then from 3 to 0, it's just varying levels of unplayability. For 3, I have Sugar Rush, the pump spell that draws you a card. 2 Protective Parents of super inefficient creature, and 1 Eerie Interference, the Bad Fog. And for 0, Greater Aromancy, which is like an unplayable enchantment. And that's our scale.
All right, we're back with Lost Caverns of Ixalan set review for limited. We're on black, and we're starting with the commons. We have Acolyte of Aclazotz. This is 2 in a black for a Vampire Cleric 1/4. You can tap it, sack another creature or artifact. Each opponent loses 1, and you gain 1. What do you think about this one, Roby?
I'm going to start this one off at like a 5. It's kind of bad stats, kind of wishy-washy, but it's probably going to be okay. And I think it has like a home for sure.
Yep, and it's like free to send triggers if you need them to.
Yep.
5 sounds good.
Yep.
Next up, we have Another Chance. This is 2 in a black for an instant. You may mill 2 cards, then return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. I think I have this one at a 6. Seems pretty good.
I do too. It's like a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah, like milling's good in this set too.
And I like that the mill is also a May trigger, which isn't irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know?
Next up, we have Brood Rage Mycoid. This is 3 in a black for a 4/3 fungus. It'll be of your end step. If you descend to this turn, create a 1/1 fungus with this creature can't block.
That seems pretty good. I'm gonna put this at a 6. This seems good. That's a lot of value for 4 mana.
Yeah, it's like build around you, but it's a build around 6 for sure.
Yep.
Next up, we have Deadweight. This is 1 for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. 6 descends itself.
I have it at a 7. It's hyper efficient removal. Like it's pretty good.
Yep, that's fair.
Yep.
Next, we have Deathcap Marionette. This is 1 in a black for a creature fungus. It's a 1/1. Has Death Touch. And when it enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards.
6. Bomb. It's
a bomb.
All sixes.
Bomb alert. All 6s.
It's a bomb alert, bro. That card's sick. This card's great. I love it.
Yeah, 6 sounds good to me too. Like we're just giving 6s away. Like
does all the things. Like
yeah,
and it's a good defender.
Mills 2 cards.
Yeah, it's so good.
Next up, we have Deep Goblin Skull Taker. This is 3 in a black for a Goblin Warrior. Has Menace, and it's a 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it.
Yeah.
It's a 5. It's understated.
Yeah, but a 5.
It could be huge.
It can be huge, but it's a lot of work, right? Like these cards are never that good.
That's true.
It does have menace. And like if you can reliably bring it into the battlefield as a 3/3, maybe it's like a 5. It might even be lower than a 5 though.
It might be.
It's very low floor, like semi-high ceiling.
Yeah, 6 ceiling.
Yeah, sketch.
Next, we have Echo of Dusk. This is 1 in a black for a creature. It's a vampire spirit. It's a 2/2. Send 4 as long as there are 4 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. It gets +1/+1 and has lifelink.
Probably like a 5, maybe a 6. Maybe
2/2 for 2 with upside. That's like a 5 to me.
Yeah,
Upside is big though. 3/3 lifelink.
Its floor is very low though. It's got pretty low floor.
Its floor is fine. It's 2/2 for 2.
Its floor is like a 4, but like its ceiling's probably like a 6. Yep.
Next up, we have Fanatical Offering. This is 1 in a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Draw 2 cards and create a map. I like it. It's a 6.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
better?
pretty efficient.
It like
No,
fuels itself, just like that one card did that made the treasures.
it
It makes a
doesn't fuel
map.
itself. It fuels itself if you have like 10 of them, right?
Yeah, like after the
A
first
tr-
one, it fuels itself, which is what
the
that
other
one.
one
What
was
was it
probably
from AFR?
Deadly
Yeah.
Dispute, which was probably like it was like a solid 6,
Yeah.
maybe a 7 in that format, and at like its peak. This is quite a bit less good. Like the
Is
map
it
token is so much worse than a treasure token. It's a
two
pretty
cards?
big,
I don't know.
yeah, because that one costs basically 1 mana,
That's true.
and like I don't know. Yeah, I have this one at like a 5.
6.
Of,
I have it at a 6.
it's at a strong 5. It's gonna be pretty good. You're gonna want it for sure.
Yeah. Next up, we have Fungal Fortitude. 1 in the black for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0. And when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its opponent or under its owner's control. These are usually good when they cost 1, but when they cost 2, they get kind of bad. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'm gonna actually put this at 5. It does trigger descend pretty reliably.
Okay.
It like triggers descend, and what's the other mechanic that I'm thinking of? The one that whenever something enters the graveyard or whatever. Is
Descend.
there two? Isn't
Descended.
there two?
Descended.
Descended. That's so
Yeah.
confusing. Yeah, it helps trigger both of those.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm gonna start it off at a 5.
Next up, we have Greedy Freebooter. This is a black for a 1/1 human pirate. When it dies, scry 1 and create a treasure.
It ain't no shambling whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, the one that can give us something -1/-1.
Or create a treasure. Yeah.
But that card was insane. This is at least a 5.
At least.
At least. It's pretty good. It might even be a 6, honestly.
Some would say 6 for sure.
Yeah.
I'll
I
go
like it.
5 too. Yeah. It's whatever. Next, we have Join the Dead. This is 1 in double black for an instant. Target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. But for Descend 4, it gets -10/-10 instead if you have 4 or more permanents.
Yep.
So if you Descend 4, it's murder. If you don't Descend 4, it's still murder. 7.
I'm like I like a I'm at like a 6. A strong 6.
Okay.
It's basically murder, right?
Yeah. Next up,
Yeah.
we have Mephitic Draft. Draw.
Draw. Maybe draft. I don't know.
I don't know. 1 in a black for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life.
Pretty okay. Probably like a 5.
I think it's like a 7.
I don't think it's a 7.
It's just everything you need. It triggers all the stuff and it draws you cards. It's sick.
Is a 2 mana draw 2 lose 2?
It's better,
Is
though.
that a 7? No,
better than that.
it's at best that.
No, because you sack it for stuff. You use it to
Yeah.
descend. Like you're using
I'm
it for
still at
other
like
things.
I'm still at like a 5.
I'll
on
split
that.
it. I'll go 6. But it's still good.
Yeah.
It's sick.
It seems good. It seems good, but I'm not sure that's like insane.
Next up, we have Primordial Gnawer. This is 4 in a black for a 5/2 insect horror. And when it dies, discover 3.
I don't love it. How do you feel about it?
Knee jerk is telling me to go 5.
My knee jerk is like 4. A lot of times, if there's like a lot of ways to deal with creatures other than just straight outright killing them, then cards like this get terrible. But like sometimes these cards are good, sometimes they aren't. It just depends on like how the removal lines up. Like when this is reliably dying, it's probably like a 5. But like if your opponent's able to do some cute stuff like tap it forever or like
Exiled or
you're
pacify it.
so behind, genuinely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
It just depends on how the removal ends up lining up.
Yeah. Next up, we have a Rampaging Spiketail. This is 4 in double black for a 5/6. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Swamp Cycling 2. What do you think?
Probably like a 5. This is
Yep.
probably like a 5. It could be up to like a 6 though, low key. Could be pretty good.
Swamp Cycling sick for 2. Like,
And
first
like
5.
do you remember like the Kennel Master? I don't remember what set that card
Kind
was
of,
in.
yeah.
It was like kind of bad, but
Gave like
like
+1/+0
ended up
and
being,
indestructible.
and it was like the best game closer in the entire set.
No,
and it made no
it
sense.
was just fine.
It was solid.
It was
It
so
was like a
mid.
solid card.
Like the middest of mid.
Kennel Master, yeah. Yep.
Next up, we have Ray of Rune. This is 4 in a black for a sorcery. Exile target creature, vehicle, or non-basic land. Scry 1.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, the non-basic land thing's kind of weird and annoying.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be weirdly annoying for sure. Yeah, I'll go a 6. I like it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go
That's
5. I think it's super mid.
yeah, it could be. It very much could be. It's exile though.
That's true.
That's the reason that like die triggers are bad, right?
Yeah.
Like if this card ends up being like super relevant.
Yep.
Yep.
Next up, we have Screaming Phantom. This is 2 and a black for a 2/2 creature flyer spirit. Creature spirit flyer. 2/2. When it attacks, mill a card. 5. Just solid. You're gonna
Yeah,
be
it seems
wanting to mill
okay. I'm probably gonna go with
artifacts.
4.
Yep.
I don't think you're gonna win it very often.
Next, we have Skullcap Snail. This is 1 in a black for a fungus snail 1/1. And when it enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles a card from their hand.
6. It's a bomb.
6, he says.
It's a bomb.
Sure.
It's a 2 for 1.
No, it's a 1 for 1 because the 1/1 doesn't do anything.
Well, you can like use it for stuff too. You can
That's
sack it
true.
to
Yeah.
draw 2. Yeah, like there's tons of stuff you can do with it.
You can use it to descend. Yeah.
This seems like a set where things on the battlefield are good,
Yeah, things
right?
that you can just use to do stuff with. Yeah,
Yep.
they are. That's true.
Yep.
Tithing Blade, 1 in a black for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Then you can craft it with a creature for 4 in a black, and it flips into at the beginning of your upkeep. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. This is like a 5. It's super
Yeah.
mid.
Yeah. It's kind of cute though. It is kind of cute. I kind of
Yeah,
like it because like it just being a thing on the battlefield might be kind of valuable.
right. Yeah, it's fine. Like crafting it for 5 to drain them for 1 every turn seems like kind of like you didn't have anything better to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Like yeah, that seems pretty bad. But
Yeah.
like the just having them sacrificing something and then you having a thing seems okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like
Next up, we have Vito's Inquisitor, 3 and a black for a Vampire Knight. It's a 3/3. You can pay a black, sack another creature or artifact, put a 1/1 counter on it, and it gains menace until end of turn.
yeah, I have this out of 4.
I have it out of 5. Instant speed sack's always sick. Costs 1.
Yeah,
Sick.
don't my biggest complaint with it is like it's not playable straight out of the box, right?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have creatures and artifacts in your deck no matter what.
Like
Right?
the difference between the power and toughness on this, like if it had one more toughness, it could be like literally a 6. But
Maybe.
like the fact that it's a 3/3, it kind of kills it for
It's
me.
just really scary to block if they have open mana because, like, they're going to sack a thing to give it menace, right?
Yeah,
And then you're going to really block it with 2 things and just let them blow you up by sacking their stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
It is scary, but yep.
all right. Next, we're on to the uncommons. We're starting off with Abyssal Gorestalker. This is 4 and double black for a 6/6 horror. And when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices 2 creatures.
This seems like this seems like a trap.
Oh, yeah.
This is a hardcore trap.
So 2?
No, because I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna go 3. That's
Okay.
pretty generous. That's pretty generous, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 is pretty generous, but like yeah,
It's
like
so much
it's
work for
pretty
this to
bad.
be decent.
Yes, like genuinely.
You
And
have
they all
2 creatures. They can have any mana up. Like, so
it's
much
so
stuff. They
it's
have to
so
have
bad.
2 creatures.
Yeah, like imagine like top decking this.
Yeah.
And it's your only creature on the battlefield, and you're just like, "Oh, you have 3 creatures, so I'm still gonna die."
You take 2 of them down with you. That's like a kill too.
Yeah, but, like, that's
They're
terrible.
worse
Like, you
too,
just watch
yeah.
him go away. You just watch him go away. Like, he's so bad. Oh, man. Yeah.
Next up, we have Bitter Triumph. 1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card or pay 3 life. Destroy target creature or planeswalker.
Probably like a 7.
Yeah, it's a
That's
7.
real efficient.
Very
Yeah.
good removal. 2
It's
mana kill
really
anything.
efficient. Yep. 3 life is nothing.
Sometimes you'll choose to discard a
Some
card just to trigger to send it
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yep.
Next up, we have Bloodthorn Flail. Just a black for an artifact equipment. Equip creature gets +2/+1. Equip, pay 3, or discard a card.
Ooh. I kinda like this one. I'm gonna give it a 6. I love it, actually.
I'll give it a 5. I'm a little skeptical, but yeah, it seems fine.
This is like Rose Thorn Halberd, bro. This is like, yeah, it's
No.
tight. It's tight.
No.
You slap this on a flyer on
There's
turn
some really
2.
good one-drop flyers too.
Yes. Like you slap this on a flyer, discard anything, and you're just getting in. Getting
Yeah.
in.
That's true.
Yep. I like it.
Next up, we have Canonized in Blood. This is 1 in a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend to this turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Then, well, not then. You could do this additionally. You can pay 5 and double black to sacrifice it. Create a 4/3 flyer. That's white and black. 5. It's kind of like doing nothing. It's an enchantment. No, it's a 4. It's a 4.
It's a 4. It's a do nothing enchantment. I don't like it.
Next up, we have Chupacabra Echo.
Ooh.
2 and double black for a Beast Horror Spirit 3/2. Fathomless Descent. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard.
Like an 8.
An 8?
It's like a 8. Yeah. That's real good.
Permanent
2 for
cards in
1.
your graveyard? What are you
Straight
going to
2
have
for
one of
1.
those on turn 4?
Yeah, at least one.
That's
At
just
least one.
-1,
Well, like,
-1. That's not even that good.
that's a 2 for 1. You blow up their flyer.
Maybe. I'm going to give it a
Like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, you're in black. If you have one permanent in your graveyard by turn 4, you're obviously doing it wrong. Like, everything mills you. Like, you should be able to have, like, at least 2.
I
And,
mean,
like, at
you
2,
don't
it's
have to play it
insane.
on turn 4. You're probably playing it more like
Yeah.
closer to 6 or something.
Yeah. Like, top decking this in the late game's insane, right?
Yeah. I'm giving it a 7 though. I still think it would be hard for me to justify taking this over like a real murder or something.
Oh, yeah, no. This is way better. This is way better.
We'll
Because
see.
whenever it pops off, you get a 3/2, right?
No, I
It's
get
2
it.
for 1.
I get
2
it.
for 1, yeah. Doesn't
Next
take a
up-
lot of work to do that. Yep, go ahead.
Next up, we have Deep Cavern Bat, 1 in a black for a 1/1 bat that has flying and lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it until this leaves the battlefield.
7. Easy 7. Easy 7.
I'm convinced 7.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, so the obvious comparison is Kitesail Freebooter, which was very, very, very good in the format
Yeah.
back in the day. But this one's even better because it can hit any non-land permanent. You could just take their 3-drop. Like, this is disgusting, actually. You take the removal spell that they were saving to kill something with. Like,
Or
it's
you
so good.
give
yeah.
it to them and take a good card and make them waste their removal on a 1/1.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Yep. You ruin their plan. It's good. It's a 7.
Yep.
Next up, we have Defossilize, 4 in a black for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and that creature explores. Then it explores again. This is like fairly mid. It's a 5.
Yeah, probably closer to a 4, but for me, but it's okay.
Yep. If you draw 2 cards off of it, then you're pissed because they're land.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you aren't pissed because you like you get to like remove lands from the top of your.
I guess.
Yeah, it's okay.
Next up, we have Gargantuan Leech, 7 in a black for a 5/5 leech. Costs 1 less to cast for each cave you control and each cave card in your graveyard. Lifelink.
It kind of depends on how many caves you can get.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Build around 6.
Are caves or the backside of caves
Yeah.
count as caves in your graveyard?
No, I don't think so.
The transform? That's sketch. I don't like that. I'm gonna start at build around 5.
Okay.
But it could be insane, but I'm not sure yet.
Next, we have Grasping Shadows, 3 in a black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. Put a Dread counter on Grasping Shadows, and if there are 3 or more Dread counters on it, transform it. Transforms into a cave. You can tap for a black, or you can pay a black and tap it, remove a Dread counter from Shadow's Lair, you draw a card, and you lose a life.
Probably like a 6. It could be really insane though.
Yeah, you could draw 3 cards off of it and gain a bunch of life and have life. Yeah, 6. That's fine. Next up, we have Malicious Eclipse, 1 in a black for sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature an opponent controls would die this turn, exile it instead. This is like good sideboard material, but it's probably like a 5.
It's like a 4. You
Well-
don't really want to play these main deck.
Yeah, unless you're like super control, right?
Super do nothing, but yeah. It's pretty niche.
Yep. Next up, we have Soul Coil Viper. 2 and a black for a 2/3 snake. 1 black, tap it, sacrifice it, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. 7. Sick.
It's a little. Yeah, it's close. I'm going to start like with a 6. It could be good. It could be very good.
It will be
But
good. And it's going
it
to be
is a
super
2/3.
scary.
Yeah, it's not super hard to. Yeah. I'll start with a 7. A very hesitant 7.
Okay. Glad we got you in there. Stinging Cave Crawler. 2 and a black for a 1/3 insect horror. Has Death Touch, send 4. Whenever it attacks, if there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard, you draw a card and lose a life.
Kind of sketch, but I kind of like it too. I think it might be like a 5 because if
1/3
you
Death Touch is real.
but for 3 mana,
Yeah, but
if
like it
you aren't
drops
drawing the
all 1 and
card,
2
it's kind of
drops.
sketch. If you aren't drawing the card, it's kind of sketchy. If you're
Okay,
drawing the card, it's
5.
insane.
Yeah, I'll also do a 5, sure.
Like if you're always drawing that
It
card,
has
it's
to
like
attack to do the draw the card though, which is gross. I don't want to attack with it.
oh, it's not an enter the battlefield. Oh, that's mid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you attacking with your 1/3 death toucher? It's like for sure at its peak of 5. Probably closer to like a 4, realistically.
I'm sticking with 5. Next up, we have Synapse Necromage, 2 and a black for a 3/1 fungus wizard. When it dies, create 2/1 fungus tokens that can't block.
It's okay.
6.
It's
All the sack
okay.
material. Just everything you could
Yeah,
ever want.
3 things for 3 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 card. It's okay. Yep.
Next up, we have Visage of Dread. This is 1 in a black for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it, and that player discards the card.
Yeah.
Craft with 2 creatures for 5 and a black, and it's a 5/4 menace that whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may mill 2 cards.
Yeah, it's really good. I have it at like an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, it's like a duress that hits creatures and also puts something on the battlefield for an extra mana. And then late game, you can just do stuff with it. You can make a 5/4.
I have it at a 6.
It's like a 2-for-1, right? It's like
Not
actively
really.
a 2-for-1.
Not
Yes.
really.
Yeah, because you get a thing and you're taking away one of their things.
But your thing does like nothing.
Your thing is a 5/4 for 6, and like you took away one of their cards.
Eh.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like disrupting your opponent by like taking their best bomb out of their there's like a certain percentage of times where like this card can win you the game.
Yeah, but it's low.
Not really. Like how many times like does like taking a creature like on turn 2 or like their best card or anything, right? Like it seems pretty good to me.
All right, we'll see.
All right.
All right, we're on to the rares. Next, you have Bringer of the Last Gift, 6 and double black for a Vampire Demon 6/6 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from their graveyards that weren't put there this way to the battlefield.
This is
Fun?
beautiful.
Fun. Very
Yeah,
fun.
it's sick. I like it.
Costs 8, though.
It does cost infinity mana.
You can
Probably not
You have to
actually,
cast
man.
it to do the thing. I was say like you could reanimate it, but
You can't reanimate it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean you can, but it's just a 6/6 flyer.
Yeah. I love it.
It's fun. It's real
It's
fun.
cool. It's cool.
a fun friend that you just bring to everything.
So does it bring back all the stuff?
No, not the stuff that died this turn, but all the other stuff.
Does it do that if you don't cast it?
No.
Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then, so is that separate?
No, it's just like if it enters the battlefield, when it enters the battlefield, if you
then
cast
it's
it.
if then segment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It's realistically
6.
probably like a 6, but we're all gonna first pick this for sure
It'll be fun. Yeah.
because it's hilarious. It's cute.
Because it's just
Like when you do the thing, it's obscene.
yeah, it's
right?
like it's a screenshot, right? When you do the thing, it's just a
Yeah.
screenshot.
It's like
Like, text it to
cards
your
like
friends.
this are like the reason why I play Magic, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Where you're just like completely behind. You have like 2 cards left in your library. You slam your Bringer of the Last Gift, and your opponent just scoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
Next up, we have Corpses of the Lost. 2 and a black for an enchantment. Skeletons you control get +1/+0 and have haste. When it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. Being of your end step, if you descend to this turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return Corpse of the Lost to its owner's hand.
Huh. I kind of like it.
I do too. Infinite
Yeah.
3/2 skeletons.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. Yeah. I'll start at like a hesitant 7.
Yeah, 7 sounds good to me too. Preacher of the Schism. 2 and a black for a 2/4 vampire cleric. It has Death Touch. Whenever it attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, make a 1/1 life linking vampire. Whenever it attacks while you have the most life or are tied for the most life, you draw a card and lose a life. 2/4 Death Touch is just going to be a pain to deal with. This is like an 8.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm like a hesitant 7. It is annoying. It doesn't die to a braid. It's just gonna be annoying and hard to deal with.
Yeah, which is sick. Next up, we have Queen's Bay Paladin. 3 and double black for a Vampire Knight. It's a 5/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, return up to 1 target vampire card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality count on it. You lose life equal to its mana value.
I'm probably at like a 6 on it.
Really?
Yeah,
Right
it's a
when
lot
it
of
comes
work.
in, you get a
It's a lot of
vampire
work.
back.
No. Oh, whenever it enters the battlefield? Yeah.
Or
Okay.
attacks.
Ah,
It's so good.
you have to have a vampire. Yeah, it's probably a 7.
It's
I don't love it.
It's an 8 for me, dog. I'm taking that over removal every time. Next up, we have Souls of the Lost. This is 1 in a black for a spirit. It's star and star +1. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card or sack a permanent. Its power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that +1. This could be huge, but the floor is super low. 6.
Yeah. I'm probably at like a 6 too. I'm
Next
not
up,
crazy about it. Actually, I'll go down to a 5. I'll go down to a 5. It's not
that's
that bad.
fair. You just want to be
It's not
lower. I
good.
get
Yeah.
it. I respect it.
No, it
Next
might
up,
be unplayable. It might be unplayable.
yeah, it might be. It might be.
It very much might be.
Stalactite Stalker, black for a 1/1 menace, Goblin Rogue. Be of your end step, if you descend to this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. Pay 3, sack it, and target creature gets -X/-X, where X is its power.
This is like a 7. It's good.
Yeah, it's real good. 1/1
Yeah.
menace that just grows over
Yeah.
time and then kills something. Sick.
Good stats for the like mana you're putting in it, right?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is 1, nothing.
Nothing.
Starving Revenant, 2 and double black for a 4/4 Spirit Horror. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and lose 3 life. Descend 8.
Okay.
Whenever you draw a card, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Okay. So this is kind of sketch. So you can draw up to 2, right? Yeah, this is like a 9 probably, right? 4 mana draw 2.
No, it's not a 9.
It's
Chill.
pretty good. It's very good.
Draw
Like this
2,
is
lose 6?
yeah, you have a 4/4.
6 life?
Yeah. If you don't need to draw them, you get to choose, right?
That's
Like
true.
you get to choose.
If it's a 4 mana surveil 2, it sucks.
Okay, but like draw 1, lose 3? Draw a good card. Okay, it's draw 2 good cards, lose 6 life.
Maybe it's only lose 4 life, and your opponent loses 2 if you have descend 8.
Yeah.
7.
It's like a 8. I'm gonna go 8. Possibly 9. Possibly 9. Very good.
Next up, we have Tarian's Journal. 1 in a black for a legendary artifact. Sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery, and you have to tap it to do that. Pay 2, tap it, discard your hand, transform it. When it's transformed, it becomes a cave land that taps for black, or you can tap it to cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it's a vampire in addition to its other types. Oh, I like it.
I like it too, but it's
I like
sketch.
it a lot.
It's very sketch.
It's not at all. It's so good.
Discard your hand.
That's like means you have no cards in your hand. Remember Hearth Elemental? That's free.
Okay, but Hearth Elemental, yeah, this draws cards too. So does
Yeah.
Hearth Elemental. But like this draws cards. So like if you're doing this right, you're drawing a million cards. I don't know. It's probably
Who
like
cares if you discard
it's
your
probably
hand
like a
when you can just
7,
cast the
maybe
creatures
8.
anyway?
It's like a 7. But it could be that this card is actually trash. Like
No,
this card could
never
very
actually
easily be
trash.
trash.
No.
Very easily.
No. Next up, we have Terror Tide. 2 and double black for a sorcery. All creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Sick board wipe 8.
Yeah, it's really cheap. I'm gonna go to 7. It does take a little bit of work.
It does take a
Not
little
for
work. Next up, we have Aklazot's Deepest Betrayal. This is 3 and double black for a Bat God legendary creature. It's a 4/4 flying lifelinker, and whenever it attacks, each opponent discards a card, and if for each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, you get a 1/1 bat with flying. Whenever it dies, return it tapped and transformed under its owner's control. Then it turns into a land that's not a cave this time. You tap it for a black, or you can pay 3, which includes 1 black, and tap it and transform it back into the bat. But only if a player has 1 or fewer cards in hand and only as a sorcery. So much stuff.
It's got too much text.
I feel
I'm
like I
gonna
just
give it a
read Lord of
7.
the
It feels
Rings.
good. It looks okay.
I'll
I'm
give
gonna
it an
just say
8.
7.
I think it's
It's
fine.
a 5. It's a 4/4 flying with the lifelink. Yeah.
Every time it attacks, you got to discard. Yeah, it's sick. And it's like annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it never comes back, right? Your opponent just holds more than 1 card forever. But
Yeah. It's annoying they have to do that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Next up, we have Bloodletter of Aklazot's. It's 1 in triple black for a 2/4 flyer. If an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. Damage causes loss of life. So it's like a 4/4 flyer for 4, kind of.
Yeah, that's really horrifying, right?
Yeah,
It's
scary.
triple black though. It is triple black.
Yeah,
Probably
that
like
gives.
a 7, 8.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7.
All right, that was our black review. Catch you boys on the flippity flop.
Bye.